historians, traditional historians, as to be the ultimate age, and then there's a decline. Well, again, in the 60s, historians began questioning that concept. Was there really a decline? And what does decline mean? Right? For example, when we look at American history, the notion of the founding fathers, right? There's an assumption that, there used to be an assumption that these people were sort of almost infallible, who created this incredible document called the Constitution and created this incredible democratic society and so forth. And then, of course, historians question not only the democratic nature of this so-called democracy, right? The fact that there's slavery written into the Constitution to preserve the slavery in the Constitution, et cetera, and so forth. So the same thing happens with Ottoman history, with the so-called decline and golden age. What was the golden age? Maybe during the time of Suleiman, where there was a lot more territories that the Ottomans had, and then eventually it begins to lose territories over time, and there's a purported declining weakness and so forth. Other aspects of history, I'm going to skip over some of them just because we don't have time, like conquest and conversion. We can talk about that later in the Q&A. But for example, there was always a sense of the Ottoman history was very declining for several centuries and so forth. Now, let me kind of skip ahead here.